the participants for the 5th day session of this 5-day faculty development program on NAAC accreditation for affiliated colleges 2020 roadmaps and guideline. Actually what I felt is it's a wonderful experience for the past 4 days for as a resource person. Actually, this is the second time I handled this the same kind of sessions. Earlier, I handled in one of the college in Tamil Nadu for only 1 day, kind of 1.5 hour time duration. But this is the first time we extended the FDP program for a period of 5 days. Initially, I thought this 5-day session is too long for this kind of attending FDP and all. Since I understood that most of the professors, principals, and deans, all the professors, they're having various commitments. Since online classes are parallelly, it is going in this for the students, and nowadays conducting webinars and online FDPs through online, it's a kind of, it becomes a new normal in this COVID scenario. So that no other go. There are plenty of options for attending these kind of FDPs all over India. Many institutions they are conducting every day. You can see the posters and brochures in the in your social media and other things. So that choosing the webinar is itself, it is a difficult one. Once you registered, again one more FDP will and one more webinar will come. So you have to make the appointment appropriately when you have to make the choice which one we can attend and which one we can skip. Somewhat I understood that, so that but anyway no other go, since now you may understood that this kind of the NAAC accreditation process, it requires the elaborated details. We need to understand the complete process so that only if we are going for applying or a renewal of your accreditation status of your institution, and furthermore, so that now almost we covered most of the topics in the past 4 days sessions. So now today we are in the 5th day session. Usually all the 4 days I covered most of the topics, mostly using the PowerPoint presentation. But today actually I plan to break this traditional way of using PowerPoints. So that today there is no PowerPoint presentations, there is no slides. So I won't go for any PPT. So that, but meanwhile, for the sake of showing, so I need to use some PDF files, some Excel files, even some live demos also. I'll show that through some college website. Now, what are all the data available in NAAC website? How we can browse the NAAC or utilize the NAAC website as a full for example, for your data acquisition purpose. So what are all the other general aspects regarding the applying the SSR? I'll tell you a few examples during the applying of SSR. Or you in your mind you have many doubts in that also. That if you have any clarification, if you want to ask the questions, even if I know, I will tell that. See, even in the participant side also, if you have any response, or if you have any clarity in that also, you can also interact. So that we'll plan the session like accordingly. 1 hour I'll present whatever I know in whatever I prepared. Then after that 30 minutes of duration we'll allocate for the discussion. I have a few other points to tell also, so later on we'll discuss after 11 o'clock. So let us straightly we'll go to the session. Today's session start with yesterday we have discussed about how your SSR is evaluated in the DVV process, and based on the student satisfaction survey, and how the peer team visit they are evaluating your QLMs. So these are the things we already discussed. So based on that, we have discussed about the metric weighted grade point. That also how we can evaluate. That also we discussed in the 4th day session. So MWGP, how we can evaluate. That also earlier discussed. So it is a simple process, so that your appropriate metric weightage is multiplied by the particular grade point. Grade point is the 5-point scale. It is a benchmarking 0. Starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So minimum 0, maximum is 4 is the grade point. So that is multiplied by whatever the weightage obtained by that weightage assigned to the particular metric. So that's how you can get the MWGP of your particular metric for your institution. Today we'll move to the another point. See, once this MWGP is evaluated, based on that, how your the entire QNMs and QLMs MWGP are converted into criteria CGPA, then how it is converted into cumulative grade point average CGPA of the institution. Then after that, once you evaluate your CGPA, then obviously there is a 7-point grading scale is there, from starting from A double plus A, then B double plus B plus B, then C. Almost D is it is a rejected one, so that you can consider it is a 7-point grading. So obviously you can easily map the CGPA with the 7-point grading system, and accordingly we can get the grade. So that this is what the process. So now I am going to present how the CGPA is evaluated for a particular college or institution. Let us go for the PPT. It is not the PPT, it is a PDF file. I will show that. So usually in the institution, we are evaluating the students based on whatever the examination, theory examinations and laboratory examinations. So each course or subject we allocated a kind of marks. For example, 100 marks they are writing the examinations, both internal and external. If you are cumulatively adding, and finally we'll get the their total marks obtained in the particular subject course. Same way here, instead of that mark, they are allocating the weightage. Actually, weightage is the actually it is not the equivalent for marks. That weightage is converted into MWGP. You can see that 7th point, calculation of metric weighted grade point. So that weightage, that MWGP is equivalent to your students' examination marks for the particular course. So at the end of the semester, you may understood that students they may write around 5 theory courses plus 2 laboratory courses. If you consider 7 subjects, so 7 criteria here it is there. Each criteria we can calculate the criteria grade point average. Here they are writing a particular semester. We call it as a criteria. We can equivalent that both. For example, in particular semester, 7 courses is there. 7 course marks also they can obtain. So these marks are again converted into SGPA in the grade sheet. Is it right, sir? The same thing we followed here as a criteria after evaluating the MWGP metric grade point for each metric. Then overall, for example, if you take first criteria, if it contains around 12 QNM and QLM cumulatively, then you have to calculate the metric weighted grade point MWGP of all the metrics. Either it is a TVV process or peer team visit. Then cumulatively you have to calculate the criteria CGPA, which is more or less similar to the SGPA of your student's grade sheet. Same way after that we have 7 criteria. Same way students have they are having 7 semester, you can assume. So at the end of each semester they are going to cumulatively calculate the CGPA of each semester, that we call it as CGPA of the student. Same way here all the 7 criteria are cumulatively calculated as a cumulative grade point average. Same methodology we adopted here, but kind of formula is little bit different. So that's what the idea of this. So at the end, same CGPA, again it is converted into particular grading of the institution. The student point of view, they are not grading something, only up to CGPA they have. So we'll go for this. What are the various parameters that influencing the NAAC CGPA calculation? Starting from the criteria 1 to 7, there are 7 criteria are there, 32 key indicators, and 121 metrics, which the combination of 60 QNMs and 36 QLMs for the affiliated PG colleges. Other university and all the QNM and QLM part is, it may vary slightly. Then the evaluation method, you know that the 60 QNMs are evaluated based on DVV process. It is a purely computer generated process. It is a purely online one, and the student satisfaction survey also, it is an online one. 60 weightages are assigned, And qualitative metrics, you know that it is evaluated by the peer team members. So the other points we already discussed. Metric weight. If you take any QNM and QLM in your complete SSR, the weightage allocated is on either 2, some metrics are 4, 5, 6, 8. Mostly you can find 5 and 10 and 15 also, 20 also. Only one metric which contains 30 and another one, student satisfaction survey, is assigned 60 weightage. Single metric you can acquire a 60 weightage, and so that accordingly 4 into 4 is the highest benchmark, so that 240 maximum mark you can score in a particular single student satisfaction survey. Next one, grade points. We have the 5-point benchmarks. Grade point is there. So calculation of metric weighted grade points, already we discussed in detail in the previous day session, session 4. Already I forwarded that PDF in the WhatsApp group also. You can refer that also in future. It's a kind of only example that mapping of the weightage with the grade point. It's purely it's a confidential one which is conducted by the NAAC. Then another one, 8th point, calculation of the criteria grade point average. So criteria wise, you need to evaluate the for each criteria how you are performing. Criteria 1, what is your performance? That is the grade point. Criteria GPA. So up to each criteria wise, you can analyze which one is you are performing better and which one is you are poor. As like students, how many out of the 7 subjects, which subject they are scoring more and which subject is less. So that the same procedure here is there. Then another one, the calculation of institutional CGPA, which ranges from 1.5 on to 4-point scale. So the scale is from 1.5 on to 4 point. It is a 7-point scale is there. And the final one, that obtained CGPA is accordingly it is converted into the 7 grades. We will go for the thing. See, NAAC, in the NAAC website, they have released the manual, quality manual. In the accreditation manual is there. Then from that you can refer. Most of the details they have provided in the manual, but in your manual regarding the calculation of institutional CGPA, only this paragraph is available in your accreditation manual. So here they mentioned the CGPA will be calculated based on the scores obtained from the 3 sources. System generated scores, SGS, of the quantitative metrics, that we call it as DVV process. After that, SGS is generated. Then the scores from the qualitative metrics, that includes critical appraisal by the peer team through the site visit. So on site visit, so obviously it is a QLM part 30%, and the scores obtained in the student satisfaction survey. So almost during the DVV, parallelly the student satisfaction survey also it will be conducted, and the score also it is generated. So these will be collated through an automated procedure based on benchmarks and assessed on 5-point scale. That's what they mention. Except that how the CGPA is evaluated is not available in your manual. So at the end of this session, I referred in a few web resources. Based on that only we prepared this one. I'll give the courtesy in the end also. I'll show that. So let us go for the calculation. Initial, the very prime step already you know that yesterday we discussed in detail. So that calculation of metric weighted grade point. Grade points 0 to 4 are assigned to each metric on the key indicators under the each criterion by using a 5-point scale based on 2 types is there, QNM and QLM. So QNM by DVV and QLM by peer team visit. So already we discussed in clearly. So we'll move for the another one. These grades points are assigned as 0, 1, 2, and 3 and 4. So 0 is there, so that it is the path. If you are not submitting the enough details or data or documents, then there is a chance of getting 0 marks for the particular metric also. Then next one, the grade point assigned to every metric in each indicator in a criterion is multiplied by its weightage. That's what we discussed earlier. So this is the formula. Once again, we can go through a refresh. Metric weighted grade point MWGP, which is equal to weightage in the grade points. So obviously 9 weightages are available. Then multiply it by out of 5-point scale, you can multiply. So overall weightage assigned to each criteria. For example, criteria 1, which holds 100 weightage, then the maximum possible uh, score which can be obtained in the criteria weightage is 100, weightage 100 multiplied by the maximum grade point is 4. So that 100 into 4, 400 marks. 400 is the maximum possible MWGP score in the criteria 1. If you are taking overall it is the 1000 weightage. If you are cumulatively added all the 7 criteria, so 1000 weightage is multiplied by grade point, maximum grade point. If you perform extremely well in all the 4 metrics, then it is if you are managed to get 4 grade point, then obviously the maximum possible mark is 1000 multiplied by 4, 4000. So that your entire SSR is evaluated for 4000 MWGP score. Okay. Next, we are moving to the second step, calculation of criterion grade point average. Criteria which indicates overall, it is a plural, overall thing, all the 7 criteria. Criterion is the individual one, each criteria by. So that you can refer this criterion, they have mentioned criterion CGPA. It means that the sum of all the such products is divided by the criterion weightage to arrive the grade point average for the criterion. That is what criterion GPA. I will show one example for the criteria 1 so that you can easily understand. Criterion 1, which is the curricular aspects, it is a purely example based only. Don't take it as a reference. Curricular aspects which contains the weightage of 100 marks. So metric numbers are listed in the columns. You can see that and corresponding nature of the metric is QLM or QNM is also there. The weightage allocated for the particular metric is listed here. Mostly it is 10, 5 only. And the metric grade point which is allocated for your metric, particular metric, which are all you submitted in the SSR by the DVV, either the DVV partner or either the peer team members. So that is available here, showed here as an example. So you can see that out of 5 points scale, you may see the variety of grade points are allocated for different metrics. So if you perform in your 1.1.1, which satisfy most of their benchmarking scale, so that you may get more maximum grade point 4, so that you may get the maximum mark for that particular metric 40. But here your metric is falling in under the third category, fourth category, fourth range, so that you may get only 3. So 3 into 5, 15, such that all the weightage and the appropriate metric grade points are multiplied. And finally, here you can see on 1.3.3, your data submitted and documents submitted are now insufficient to attain the required benchmark, so that they are providing the lowest benchmark category 0, so that you may lose the particular mark in that particular metric. So overall, you may see that weightage allocated is 100. Total criterion MWGP, we can calculate like this. So you can just add, it's a arithmetic addition, you can add. So overall 280 you got MWGP. So the formula for calculating the criterion CGPA is total criterion MWGP is 280. You can put in the numerator, and denominator is what is the weightage allocated for the particular metric. So the 280 divided by 100. So 280 by 100, 2.8. So that is the actual criterion CGPA for first criteria you obtain. So this is what the idea of calculating the criterion CGPA for each criteria. Another one, if you take the second criteria, the student satisfaction survey also included in that criteria. It is around 2.7.1 metric. So that particular appropriate 60 weightage is allocated in this column. Then again metric, if it is multiplied by 4 or 3 or something, whatever you performed in student performance, based on that your MWGP score will come. Same way, all the 7 criteria you need to evaluate criterion CGPA. There are 7 criterion CGPAs are there. I will show one example. Calculation of the CGPA by using the all 7 criterion CGPAs. How we can do? So using the criterion grade point average for all the 7 criteria, the cumulative grade point average is calculated. Let us assume a kind of X university, X college, which contains 7 criterions are there. So already in that first one, we already discussed in a table in the previous one, how this criterion 1 CGPA is obtained. So already based on that, we can provide the number here 2.1. 2.8 is the criterion 1 CGPA. So similarly, the same manner we have prepared and we have evaluated the CGPA for all the rest of the 6 criteria. So the criteria 2, it is 3. It performs, the criteria 2 is the teaching learning process. It performs more than the criteria 1. And the maximum performance is evaluated in the criterion 3 for this particular college, 3.5. It is a purely example one. So criteria 4 is infrastructure facility, 3.1 CGPA. 5, it is 3, student support. 6, it is the managerial aspects, that is 3.1. All the, if you see that most of the, except first criteria, all the 7 criteria are performing more than 3 CGPA. Let us go for how these 7 criterions CGPAs are converted into actual CGPA of your institution. You can see this formula. Overall weightage is 1000, that you have to put in the denominator. Then in the numerator, so the formula is the criterion 1 CGPA multiplied by, this is the 2.8, and multiplied by criterion 1 weightage. So weightage multiplied by accordingly CGPA. Criteria 1 weightage multiplied by criteria 1 CGPA plus criteria 2 weightage 350 multiplied by criteria 2 weightage is 3. Criteria 2 CGPA. Same way, criteria 3 weightage multiplied by criteria 3 CGPA. Accordingly, up to 7. So you have to add all these things. Multiplication is separately doing, and after the multiplying all these things, and you have to cumulatively add all these things. So finally, in the numerator, you may see that 1000 weightage is there. In actual practice, it may not, since NAAC provided one option for all the institution that we call it as, we discussed in the previous session, that we call it as optional metrics. We can choose a kind of, we can omit few metrics, around 30 weightages, metrics with 30 weightages in the overall 7 criteria. In that, many constraints are there. In previous, I mean that before 2020, this RAF, the institutions are allowed to choose 50 weightage to exclude from the evaluation, but now it is reduced to 30 only. So that if you choose all the 30 weightage options, which is provided by you, so that now the 1000 weightage is reduced to around 970 weightage. So that at the end of the calculation of CGPA, there NAAC will consider only the total weightage by excluding your optional metric weightage. Same way in criteria weightage also. For example, if you are excluding 30 weightage from criteria, for example, I am telling criteria 2, 6, and 2, 4, and 5. If you are excluding 10-10 weightage in all the 3 criteria, so that here there are that out of, instead of 350, only 340 will come. Same way, instead of 100, only 90 will come. Instead of 130, 120 will come. So that both numerator and denominator, that particular criteria, that excluded optional metric will be removed from the evaluation part. So this is the simple formula. Based on that, the total institutional CGPA is calculated as 3.09. So this is what your evaluated CGPA. You can see that college CGPA is 3.09. Obviously, all the criteria are crossing 3, so that your overall CGPA, which mainly depends on the 2 parameters. One is the weightage allocated to the particular criteria, and the CGPA performance in your each criteria. So that performing in each criteria is very important. That directly reflects in your overall institution CGPA. So let's go for another end one, that is how your CGPA is converted into, mapped into the particular grade. So institutional grade range is there. This is the new, from the new accreditation format. You can see that range is starting from 1.51 to 2. If your CGPA is in this range, you can get C. It is around 5-point grade, 0.50 is allocated in this range. 2.01 to 2.5 is B. 2.51 here it ends on 50 and it is 51 starts on 51. So even one single grade also it will affect. For example, if you are getting 2.50, your institution is falling under the category of B. If you are managed to get 2.51, then your institution is able to get B plus. Even a single point, not one CGPA also that reflects in the in varies the grading systems. I'll show some few colleges, those who got affected by these boundary layers. Then 2.76 to 3, it is B double plus. You can see that the 3.01 to 50 is divided into A and A plus, and finally, if you are crossing 3.51, it is kind of highest grade A double plus. So in this case, you can see that the performance is around 3.09. So that 3.09 falls under the third category, 3.01 to 3.25. Obviously, your grade assigned for your college is A. So this is what the sequence of allocating the grade for the colleges. This complete entire almost all this evaluation of CGPA I referred from the accreditation by NAAC new guidelines, which is available in YouTube also. You can see that presented by Dr. M. Lakshmipati Rao. He is the former director IPSC on Osmania University, Telangana. So this time actually I referred many web resources, but out of this in his presentation he clearly mentioned all these things. So in this session I want to thank Mr. Lakshmipati Rao sir. Thank you. Then next we will go for the another one. Yeah, once your institution is graded, what you are going to receive, that is a very important one. So at the end of grading and all, okay, how the NAAC will communicate to the institutions, whether they are communicating only your CGPA and grade, or with some support with other document also. Let us see that assessment outcome, that we call it as outcome. So it is an ICT based score. So based on the total qualitative and quantitative metrics. So there are in your final assessment report, which contains 3 parts. One is part 1, peer team report. What are all the observations made by the peer team and their reports, the entire report. Already there are 4 sections are there. We discussed about this during the peer team discussion. So the same thing is submitted to your institution for the reference purpose. The purpose is you need to go through all the feedbacks and observations of the peer team visit regarding your institution. They have mentioned the pros and cons of your institution. Then you have to go through, and for furthermore you have to adopt few suggestions what are all they submitted in the peer team report. Then so that you can accordingly you can improve the grading and the CGPA and grading in the furthermore cycles. Then the second one, graphical representation based on the quantitative metrics. So system generated score is it is showed as a graphical charts, and so that you can easily understood how your QNMs are performed in each criteria. Then the third one is institutional grade sheet. Finally, you can get the grade sheet with NAAC logo also, so that it is the official copy. You can display that copy in your website also. It shows your CGPA, criterion-wise CGPA and overall CGPA and overall grade also. So that's it about this grading. Then, yeah, next we will move to the, I assume that you understand the CGPA process, evaluation of CGPA and grading. If you have any clarification, then at the end of this session, you can clarify with that. Then we'll go for the post-accreditation. Once imagine that the process is getting declaring the accreditation based on, they will send the mail to your institution, and they are displaying every month. You can see that I'll show in the NAAC website also. Accreditation results you may see in the notification part. Every month, one time they will release kind of accreditation result. I think you may expect at the starting week of the month. They have background NAAC have their own procedure, and they want to approve. As in our autonomous institution, we are getting approval of the results like that. Same way, they have their own system is there. So once if you received the grade, declared, if you receive the particular grade, what you can go for the another post accreditation things. We'll go for one by one. There are 5 things are there. One is go with the grade for the next upcoming 5 years. For example, if your in your institution performs for the you are entering through the first cycle as a fresh one, and suppose you are managed to get the grade of B plus. Let us for example B plus. It is not a, see, in my opinion there is no such a grade is earlier it is there very good and poor and satisfactory is there. In my opinion, you may take it as a it is the kind of assessment and accredited for your institution based on the last 5-year performance. So that if you are performing averagely, then you can get B plus. Okay, we can satisfied with that. Then we can go for the next. We can keep that same grade for the next upcoming 5 years, same B plus grade. Then during the meanwhile, during that next before the next cycle, there are a lot of time is there. 5-year duration is there. You can prepare yourself, and you already get some many feedback of your institution, so that you can improve. You can introduce many quality related aspects through IQAC. Then based on that, you can improve your performance accordingly in the next cycle. That is the first one. Another side, okay, if you are not satisfied with the grade. For example, most of the institutions, few institutions, they are falling in the creamy line border category. For example, I'll show that in the grade itself. You can see that few institutions. I'll show one example institution also. So, one of the institution, they got 2.99. Then for they are falling under the category of B double plus. So that it is a kind of pathetic thing, since they almost they got the A grade, but marginally they lose the grade. So that in that case, what are the choices from the institution side? Again, if you take the example of students, if the students felt they got less mark or failed, what is the option given to the students is reevaluation. Same way here we call it as it is an appeal. So those institutions who they doesn't get satisfied with the allocated CGPA and grade, they can go for the appeal. So appeal, when we go for appeal, there are certain limitation is there. Within 15 days of time, you have to submit the intent of appeal. Intent of appeal, nothing but we are going to appeal, like that. You have to intimate the NAC one, so that you can, if you are deciding to go for appeal, don't show or don't display your grading and all in the website. Just keep it yourself. Then after within 45 days duration, again you need to submit your appeal process with kind of appeal payment also. It is there. In my knowledge, it is around 1 lakh rupees you have to pay for appeal. That means that again you are appealing to the NAC to re-evaluate. From the NAC side, there are 3 options are there. They may consider, the committee is there. They will go through your appeal, and based on that, whether we'll go for the re-DBB process. That is there. Again, they will conduct once again DBB process. If they felt that QNM evaluation is not fair, then another one revisit also it may happen. Sometimes peer team visit also, you may QLM part also you may miss grades, or marginally you lose some marks. That also it is possible. Or the third chance is they may reject your appeal, since your appeal is not appropriate. So these are the 3 options is there. Earlier I worked in one of the institution in Tamil Nadu. In there also they went under the window 1. We call it as window 1 through the RAF 2017 system. In that they are managed to get only at that time we are also very fresh to this RAF system. We even we don't know how the CGPA is evaluated. Like that initially 70% weightage given to QNM and 30 is QLM. All these things are new to all the institutions. Those who are underwent in the first window system and in the new accreditation process, we are managed to get around out of 4 scale 2.93 only. The thing is already we are entered through this RAF 2017 as a cycle 2. Already in previous accreditation, NAC accreditation, we got A grade. So now after the second cycle, we received the grade of 2.93. So that obviously it is a B double plus grade. So the downgrading is possible. That's what I mentioned in my first day session. Most of the premier and reputed institutions, they are struggling to get a good grade, or mostly they are downgrading from their topmost grade from A. Some of the institutions from A double plus to some they falling into B double plus. So huge difference is there between the cycle 1 and the cycle 2. So that this that is the another side of this RA, the new accreditation process. So again, we have decided to go for appeal. Then finally, all the process also we did, and we do few corrections in our QNMs also. They are allowed to do to submit a few supporting documents, in particularly in QNM part. So that based on that, we applied. Then finally, at the end, after kind of 2 months period, we received, there is no change in, like students they received for their evaluation. Same way, there is no change in the CGPA we received. So that's what the story behind this appeal. And you have to be very careful. If you are marginally losing the grade, you can go for appeal, or else better you can go for the another third option. Third option is reassessment. Suppose the same thing, if you are not satisfied with the grade, for example, your grade is B plus, somehow you are not satisfied, marginally you lost, but you don't want to go appeal, then you can go for reassessment. But the constraint is you may apply the reassessment process. Again, you have to start from IIQA, the same whatever all you did for first assessment, same thing you have to do. But the assessment, you can apply for the reassessment after 1 year period. Then only you can, NAAC will consider. Then that before, you have to apply before 3 years after the getting grade of the, during the cycle 1. So the period is after 1 year, before 3 year. So before, at the end of, after 2 years of period, if you felt that you are performing well for the past 2 academic years, then again, if you in your opinion, you may think that maybe if you are go for reassessment, you may get some improved grade or CGPA. In that case, you can go for the reassessment process. And usually it is not advisable, since within a duration of 2 years, you can't improve much in the CGPA. So that, in my opinion, you can keep with whatever the grade allocated to you for 5 years. You perform well for the upcoming 5 years and go for the another cycles. And another one more point to mention is, now NAAC introduced, frequently they are upgrading the manuals and all the creation processes based on the feedback obtained by the institutions. So that if you are going for the second cycle, imagine if you got the accreditation in 2020, your second cycle falls on 2025 or 26. So that at that time, you don't know what kind of accreditation framework is there. You know that, see, past 2 days, all the media are focusing on the national education policy released by the central government. There are drastic changes will be happen in near future regarding all the things, higher education and even in the accreditation system also. There are 2 systems are there now, NBA and NAAC is there. It maybe they may combine together, they may come with a kind of new accreditation system also. That and all we don't know. It's a kind of education policy regarding to the government. So that next, yeah, we'll go for the another one. Once you got the grade, whether your work is over, no. So you have to go for the continue. It is a continuous process. Once you are created, branded by a grade, then you have to keep the same quality aspects, and you have to prepare the same metric parameters, data and documents every year. That we call it as AQAR report submission. Annual quality assurance report, which is expected by the NAAC after the institutions are accredited. Then every year, within the 1 year duration, you have to submit. The period is usually falls on September, up to September or October. You can refer the manual. So you have to submit the AQR report for the upcoming 4 years. 4 year period you have to submit. That means, so after accreditation, AQR report 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 reports you have to submit. So usually, who will take care of this submission of AQR report? Obviously, it is the prime role of IQAC. internal quality assurance cell, which is supposed to be a mandatory cell which should be formed after the accreditation process. So IQS, the prime role is submitting AQR report and enhancing the quality aspects, quality activities in the institution. These are the prime role in the AQR report. And obviously the final applying for the cycle 2 also, it is the responsibility of the IQAC cell. Another fifth one, renewal of accreditation. Yeah, you can go for after 5 years, you can go for the next accreditation. It is called it as cycle 2 and accordingly cycle 3. Now most of the premier institutions, they are in the cycle 3. Some few institutions, they are in cycle 4 also. So that's it about this presentation. This is the major topic which I want to cover in this session. I'll show one few sample calculation of CGPA as an Excel format. Already, actually, I forwarded a kind of Excel file which is prepared by myself for affiliated colleges with criteria and weightages. You can see that this file is there. So in that you can see that criterion-wise metrics are available. So here you can easily, tentatively, you can calculate your institution CGPA, how we can perform. It is a tentative one. It's since this MGP metric grade point, it is not an exact one. It is an expected one, appropriate one. So that simply you can put the weightage and the MGP, what you expect. You can grade your particular metric. Like example, like I'm grading this particular metric as 3, so that I managed to get weightage into 3, so that I managed to get 30. You can see a little bit I'll enlarge. So similarly, I'm entering the metric grade point for all the metrics in the criteria 1. So finally, I'm managing to get criterion grade point average for the particular criteria 1 is 2.59. Same way for all the second criteria, all the things you can calculate the MWGP and the criterion GPA accordingly. Here it is 2.60. Same way, criteria 3, it is 2. It is for only example purpose I'm showing. And criteria 4, 2.54. Criteria 5, it is 2.03. Criteria 6, it is 1.82. It may come. Then criteria 7, 2.32. So overall 7 criterion CGPAs are evaluated based on MWGP. So how we can evaluate CGPA? You know that. So criteria wise 7 criteria is there. Each criterion CGPA also it is provided here. So based on the weightage allocated for each criteria. You know that criteria 1 which holds overall 100 weightage. You can see here. So 100 weightage is there, but here I put only 85. The meaning of this is that 15 weightage is excluded from this calculation of CGPA. The reason is that 15 weightage is chosen or chosen as optional metrics during my submission of SSR. So that here I excluded nearly 49 weightages in this out of 7 criteria. You can see criterion 2, the entire 350 is taken for the analysis. Criterion 3, you can see the overall weightage is 120. But in this CGPA calculation, it is around 107 is taken for analysis, so that 13 weightage is excluded here. So overall, in total, you can see that around out of 1,000, 951 weightage is calculated as for evaluation. So that means that 49 metrics are 49 weightages are excluded from the evaluation. So overall CGPA is calculated based on the formula, you know that already I mentioned. So the denominator you can see 951 is there. You can see. So overall CGPA obtained for the particular example institution, it is 2.35. So if it is 2.35, so you may fall in the big well, large well is there, 2.01 to 2.50. It is the big bandwidth. In that, so we are managed to get only B grade. So suppose if you are falling under 2.50 to 2.75, 51 to 75, that is B plus. Accordingly, you may increase the grade. This is the another one analysis based on only QNM part. So I will take the analysis as a QNM part. This is essential for pre-qualification. So for pre-qualification, minimum out of total weightage is 603. And the total metric grade point is 1387. Out of that, you have to perform, total weightage metric grade point is 2412. Out of that, you need to perform minimum 30% in that old format. Now it is 25%. So that in this institution, they performed around nearly 60%, so that they are easily pre-qualified. So that's how the pre-qualification is evaluated. So let us close this session. Yeah, that's it about the evaluation of CGPE. We almost finished this today's important major topic. Then we'll go for the. I want to show few statistics, interesting statistics regarding the grades obtained by engineering colleges in Karnataka. Of course, mostly engineering colleges have collected, and I'll show that. It's not available in website. It's prepared by myself only. Let us see it's a kind of analysis report based on only RAF, Revised Accreditation Framework. Those institutions who are coming under first cycle only, I'll take the analysis. So that from July 2018 to November 2019, so almost 1.5 year duration. Number of affiliated engineering institutions. I'll show the full screen mode, so that you can easily see. Yeah, number of affiliated colleges in Karnataka applied for NAAC in the first cycle. It is 19 institutions. These are the range of grades obtained by these 19 institutions. You can see the segregation of the grades. You can see that around there is no institutions are performing in these two grades, A++ and A+. That means no one is performing more than 3.26. So around after 3.01 to 3.25 A grade is there. 4 institutions they are performing or managed to get A grade around 21%. See B++ 6 institutions they are performing around 32%. B+ only 7 institutions, and B only 1 institution, and C you can see that C it is it means that you know that it is very poor grade. So that only 1 institution also it is. In my opinion, if you see the statistics, most of the we will not go for the reason behind it. Most of the government institution, government colleges, degree colleges, they are managed to get only either C or B, and very rarely B+. That we have to concern about this. That's a concern of the government. Let us go for the detailed thing. If you see, I want to show, it's not the intention to show the grade of the institution. I want to mention few important facts of this. See, if you see that PES College of Engineering Mandya, they are managed to get 2.99. So if they are, see, it is a kind of critical one. See, imagine you got, you lose the mark within a single point, not one. Instead of getting A grade, you are managed to get only B++. It is the kind of thing. In that case, there is only one chance is the institution may go for the appeal. There is the fair chance to get into the 1.01 is easily you can get during the appeal process. You can go further. Another one here you can see. This is another thing. You can see the MBJ College of Engineering. They are getting only 3, exactly 3, so that they are falling in that. This is another crucial one. They are getting 2.99. 0.02 is the difference here. 0.01 is the difference. That is also in the part of the accreditation process. And one more thing, you can see that with Vidya Vartaka College of Engineering, you can see that they managed to get A with marginally they are crossing the line. Like 3.01. It's a kind of hairline boundary. So that's what I want to mention. See, each and every metric is very, very important that directly involves in the grading, or else finally you may suffer with losing in marginally like this. Let us go for the another one. Regarding the SSR, you may download, I already mentioned, you may download the SSR from the college website, your institutional NAAC portal. I suggested all the institutions, coordinators, you can download the SSR at any time. from the NAC, but you may see the variations. See, suppose I'll show two SSRs. One is GSM SSR after DVV, and before submitted, during submitted. Once you submitted in the portal, immediately the very first you received the fresh SSR. That is different. After DVV process, if you again download the SSR from the NAC portal, you may see all the metric data and corresponding documents and their weightage response also. It is updated in the SSR manual. I'll show that. A few examples. So first I'll show the SSR submitted initially. This is the SSR submitted initially. So we have submitted on 31st/12/2019 at the end of the last day of the year. So we'll show the thing is there. It is the fresh document. You can you never see any DVV and other parts is there. Complete report is 104 pages is there. I'll show the another one which is downloaded after DVV process. This is the actual one. Earlier one is the draft one. You can see that this is downloaded during 29/7/2020, very recently. In that you can see that in metric wise also all the data are, see whatever the data here you can see that is updated after the affiliated after the DVV process. And at the end also you can see that here you can see the DVV clarification as an annexure 6. That is included in your report also. All the metrics, what are all the clarification you received, what is the data accepted after DVV, what is the remark also they will give. So that it is a clear indication to the institution that how your metric performs in the DVV process. You can see before verification it is 76, after verification it is 60 reduced. So this already we discussed in elaborately in my previous sessions. So that's what the major difference. And even student satisfaction survey also, what is the kind of response you receive from the students, that also you can verify in this SSR. You can see that here this is the after DVV student satisfaction survey. Once it got ended, you can receive the response of that. You can see before the attainment of grade also. This is the 4-point scale. Out of 4-point scale, we performed 3.54. It is really a good indicator for the teaching learning process in our institution. So that is the thing I want to convey. And one more thing, while preparing your SSR, suppose you are in the stage of preparing the SSR, so you want some resources. For example, if you want to download the SSR report of our institution or any previously accredited institution, if you want to download the SSR, no need to simply go and search in the Google. Instead of that, better you can go for the NAC website. So that first I will show how you can effectively utilize the data and the templates available in the NAC website. I'll show that. Meanwhile, I'll show how you can download the SSR also. Let us open that NAC website. Excuse me. I think it opens. So this is the home page. You already know that all these things. So I want to mention or indicate few important things you have to refer. One thing is how to download the SSR report of other colleges. You can scroll down, and here you can see accreditation status and accreditation results. You can go for the accreditation results. So here you can see that every month they are releasing the accreditation results. See, March, the final accreditation result we received from the NAC side is only during March. After that COVID, there is no results. There are no results are published. See, you can see that February, January, November, every month you can receive the accreditation result based on the nature of the cycle. First cycle, second cycle. You can go that. I can even after appeal also you can. So frequently you have to refer this also. Another one, accreditation status. So here you can see accreditation status of universities and colleges. If you click here, it will land on the dashboard of the accreditation status place. A and A dashboard you can find here. As an example, I'll search my college SSR. You can go to college. It is Karnataka, situated in Karnataka, and the cycle we applied is cycle 1. What is the status of the institution? Actually, we SSR submitted and we are waiting for peer team visit, but it is not scheduled, not yet. So that I'll put SSR submitted. We can select the institution subtype, or otherwise you can put range. Range, you may select only 30 days of range here. So we have submitted our SSR on December 31st, so that I'll select from December 1 to December 31st. Yeah. Let us apply. Show details. Shows nothing. Let us search with the name also. Or else we'll increase one more date, January to December. Yeah. Now you can see that our college name will appear here. You can see it is the ICI ID of our college, address and state, date of submission of SSR. If you want to download the SSR of now, it almost our process is over. Anytime after DVV, all the colleges are advised to upload the SSR in the NAC, your college portal, web portal also. That also soon, very soon, will upload. So even you can download here also. You can see the view details. In that you can see that IAQA submitted date, approved date, then SSR submitted date, SSR status. If you want to download IAQA, you can download here. SSR, if you want to download, if you click here, it will open, right? So accordingly, you can download whatever, give the date range. Based on that, you can download the SSR of any institution who already accredited or submitted. So why I'm telling is, you can take the, you can go through most of the premier institution or any colleges SSR, those especially in first cycle. You can go through the entire matrix, how they prepared their QNM and QLM, that and all you can see. Even you can download documents also, no problem. If you select, it is a hyperlink. If you select, it will open. I'll show here also, you can see. This is what the SSR of our institution. In that, if you want to download a particular document or anything, if you want, few documents we uploaded in our website, since it will take few time. Any additional information, let us open this. It will go to the particular opening page. I think due to network issues is there, some it will take some few minutes to download the document, but you can download any whatever the document if you want, you can download. Let's close this. So that's why if you are uploading the supporting document in the college web portal, during the verification, it will take a little bit time for downloading or opening in the screen. That's what is happening here. Let us close this. Next one. Yeah, we'll go for the again NAC website. Within 5 minutes, I'll explain how we can effectively use the NAC website. In that, they have clearly mentioned what are all the procedure you have to follow for registration. It is a kind of video you can easily view, and IAQA, how you can submit IAQA process, and the SSR tutorial. Then DVV, how the DVV process is going. Recently, NAC added this SSR filling video also. Since SSR is a crucial part, most of the institutions, knowingly or unknowingly, they made many mistakes during submission of SSR and preparation also. So that they are providing the helpline here. If you select this, during our submission of SSR, it is not available. It is recently added on. So you can see that SSR filling tutorial English version, even Hindi version also is there. North Indian institution, they can refer. See here, it is how to submit the profile. Detailed guideline is there. Profile, extended profile. Then criteria wise, how we can submit each criteria. 7 videos are there. And student satisfaction survey also is there. How to choose the optional metrics. Some few guidelines for during the SSR filling also there. So it is a beautiful videos. You can see that it is a really useful one while you are uploading the SSR, or during preparation also you can see. Let us close this. And if you want to apply and if you want to download all the formats, the circulars and all these things, it is available. Suppose if you want to see the old circulars, you can go for archive. In that you can find all the circulars which they circulated earlier. You can find that. And for downloading the documents, better you can go for apply online. So in that you can find this is the old manual, the newly released manual here. So every whenever NAAC updated the quality manual or accreditation manual, they have mentioned the particular updated date also. Here you can see that this accreditation manual is updated on 4th February 2020. So in my suggestion is whenever you go for accreditation, better you can go for immediately go for NAAC website and you can download the latest manual. Since after during the release of this accreditation manual, January 1st, I think December end they released. From the January 1st they implemented. At that time they released the manual and again they updated within a 1 month duration. Again 4th February they updated with few corrections. So that's what this is very important one. You can download all these templates also. Then regarding this, it is variety of institutions you can download. You should download the appropriate manual, and there are many clarifications also received during this FDP that regarding the classification of UG and PG colleges. So it is obvious, it is very clear that if your institution is having only UG courses, there is nothing PG courses or PhD, you are under UG college. Suppose you are offering either PG or PhD along with UG, then you are coming under PG colleges only. Your appropriate NAAC portal, your that PG appropriate metrics for PG only, it will open during your submission of SSR. So student satisfaction survey, the regarding related documents are available here. If you want, you can download, you can utilize that. These are the very important guidelines in the website, and if you want to get the details about the IQAC cell and the AQAR, I think it is too early to discuss about this IQAC cell and the AQAR. AQAR report is one word I can tell. It is the 1 year report for 1 year report of SSR. During the cycle 1, you are submitting the SSR of 5 years. AQAR report is the 1 year report of the same thing. Mostly the format is the same format is mapped with the AQAR also. Whatever you submitted in SSR, most of the metrics what you prepared for last 5 years, the same thing you have to prepare for the upcoming year. So every year you have to do the NAAC SSR submission as an AQAR format. So that's what the AQAR. Usually, if you do like that every year, if you frequently updated all your activities and converted into metrics, data, and documents. So at the end of the 4th year after getting cycle 1 accreditation, it is so easy to submit the overall prepare the SSR report of your second cycle accreditation. So it is very simple process. You have to combine all the 4-year AQAR report as a, and you have to prepare one more year, 5th year report, and you have to made as a complete SSR for 5-year period. So that that is what the intention of submitting AQAR report. Earlier it is not mandatory. Now NAAC made it mandatory. If you are going for second cycle, then obviously you have to submit. You should submit the AQAR report for the 4-year duration. And one more thing, when you are going for the next cycle, see the period of validity is 5 years, but at the end of the 4.5 years, you have to apply. So before the expiry of the date, you have before 6 months you have to apply for the new cycle accreditation. At the time, what is the accreditation framework is there? You have to go for that. That is the applicable for your institution, even though you undergone in a different accreditation process in the cycle 1. So that's what the thing. Then at the time you need to follow the same procedure what are all the available in the NAC website. You can refer. Another one, few resources are also available in the NAC website, and if you want to see the statistics also, it is there. You can see that in the quick links. You can see the statistics, which is some publications uploaded in the NAC. You can see that grade breakup in the colleges, statistical data. I'll show an example. It's a kind of interesting statistics which is uploaded by NAC office. You can see that this is the data which is uploaded in April 2019. Data is from study is from 1st July 2017 to 19, 5th April 19, almost 2 years of duration after this reactivation process. You can see that number of IAQA received 2000 around, rejected is 102. Even in IAQA itself, 102 colleges they got rejected in the stage of IAQA, accepted 2010. So out of 2010 accepted IAQA institutions, you can see that 551 institutions they are not able to submit the SSR, not filled the SSR. That means within 45 duration of time, they are not able to submit their complete SSR. So that is the nearly you can see that 25% around 2000, 25% of colleges they are not able to submit the SSR. That's why I mentioned again and again. So if you are going for submitting IAQA, you have to ensure that nearly 70 to 80, 75, 80% of SSR of your institution should be completed in all the manner. Then only you go for submit the IAQA. IAQA at any time you can submit, no issue. There is no timeline. So that please prepare all the things and go for the IAQA, or else you may fall in this 4th category also. So you can see that that SSR received is around blue color is there 1459. Total result declared around 1000 and 440 is under process. So result declared, you can see that around 898 colleges you can see, and not accredited also, that 12 institutions are not accredited. See in green color 73 institutions are not get pre-qualified. That is also the crucial one. See, even though you submitted SSR, after DVV you are not performed, that means the minimum score of 30% in DVV is not happened. That's why 73 institutions they lost their accreditation due to they're not pre-qualified for the peer team visit. So only 898 colleges they are eligible for the accreditation purpose. These are some interesting statistics. You have to go through this. And another one I want to convey that is about the regarding NAC website. I think that's over. You can get the introduction of NAC all from here, and a few publications also available here. You can see regarding AQR and IQAC, all the things are available here. You can go and refer, and you can refer the templates also. Let us close this NAC website. I want to show one more thing regarding our college website. Since during the submission of SSR, you have to upload few supporting documents in the institution college website. Let's go for that. I'll show how we uploaded our supporting few large size supporting documents that crossed the capacity of 5 MB. So here you can create in home page, you can create an exclusive tab for NAC, or you can make it as an IQAC. Then IQAC details you can upload here in this link, and IAQA declaration and IAQA what you downloaded after getting the approval you can upload here. Then SSR, in that you can create around 7 criteria is there. You can create 7 tabs. This is only suggestion only. You can follow in different manner also. So in that, for example, criteria 1, 2 metrics requires a kind of large supporting document. We have uploaded that same document in the same metric name. with the college abbreviation also. So 2 metrics are uploaded here. So the same hyperlink, if you select this, you just select this, and the same hyperlink you can copy here and paste the hyperlink in the appropriate data file or the place provided in the NAC portal. So that if they are during the DVV verification, they will directly select the particular web link and hyperlink. It should particularly land on the particular document, not in the home page of this college. So if you are giving this as a link, they won't consider. You just make the open your appropriate document and just copy the appropriate link and paste it in the appropriate places. So then only they will consider, and you just ensure that after submission of SSR, do not alter all these tabs and files, uploaded files in your college website, so that since maybe at any time, any point of time, even night also, even night time also, they may, even day night also, they will do the DVV process. At that time, suppose if you are doing any construction or reworks, if you are doing in your website, if you stop the server, then it may affect the DVV process. So that you just ensure that after submission of SSR, within around before completion of DVV, then you have to maintain, you have to keep all the documents alive. So that is very important one. So that otherwise, or else NAC will intimate. See, we also received one clarification during the DVV, such that during the DVV process, you received kind of your supporting document is not opened, like that they told. Again, we resend the link, and few documents they again re-verified. That happened. So that this is what the point I need to tell regarding the uploading of documents in your college website. So that's it. And for effective execution of the NAC preparation and submission process, you may form a committee with your institution faculty. I'll show only a sample. It depends on the institution strength and the faculty strength, and few other factors also in a number of programs. So here you can see that this is what the committee we formed from the head of the principal. Then myself is the overall coordinator of the college. One technical assistant also we allocated for some documentation purpose. So each criteria, we have 7 criteria is there. So we have allocated each criteria coordinators as a faculty, senior faculty members. And one more, in criteria 2, it contains 350 weighted, and it requires lot of document and data preparation. It is a crucial one. So that we allocated 2 faculty members for the preparation of the support report. You can see all the criteria coordinators are under that. Each department we have allocated NAC coordinators, so that the preparation of each department data and which converted into institutional data and converted into the overall SSR, all will happen smoothly based on this hierarchy level. And these department coordinators will convey all the and collect the documents and data from the faculty side. It is a kind of teamwork. It is a mutually sharing work. So quickly, I will show that a few other committees are also required for effective peer team facing the peer team visit and all the preparation of the documents and all. Internal quality assurance cell is mandatory, and few other cells also I will show that. Academic auditing cell that should be maintained by IQAC cell, college information management system, then digital data and community. You can you know that all the data and documents are in soft copy, so that you have to form these kind of cells. Feedback collection and analysis cell, outcome based education also it is crucial one. College website and social media, alumni association cell. I think most of the institution they are having these cells. It's a kind of reference only. Anti-ragging committee are mandatory things. Cultural club, women empowerment, internal compliance committee. You should allocate according to the coordinators, and you should mention the responsibility also. Grievances redressal committee, cultural club, then disciplinary committee, malpractice, industry institution, extension outreach, and e-content development cell, capability enhancement developments like that, so that you can it's only guideline only, you can increase the number of committees and cell according to your institutions. And yeah, these are the things I want to convey during this thing. Let us close this, and I will come for the live. regarding the fees payment, around 6,50,000 you have to pay. But one advantage is if your institution is having 2F and 12B, then that weaving of the fees may happen. You may reimburse based on the providing the supporting documents like 2F, getting 2F and 2F 12B certificates. Then based on that, again you may reimbursement. You get the reimbursement of the fees paid by the institution. That is the one thing I want to convey. And another one. After getting the approving the DVV, then you have to upload the SSR in the web portal, and after the grade declaration, you have to upload the grade sheet and all the things in the NAC tab. That is another one. That's it about. I think we are at the end of the session. Then, in my side, I thank everyone. Actually, it is a kind of long duration of time. And I thank everyone, all the professors from variety of colleges, not only engineering, government colleges, arts colleges, and commerce colleges, even teacher training also. They have attended really attended interestingly and patiently. Also, they are listening. They are asking many clarifications also. It is the big learning experience for ourselves also. So while preparing the thing, then kind of it creates it improves knowledge for myself and in even my faculty members also. So that's what from my side. And rest of the thing, if you have any, we'll allow 5 minutes for the discussion. If you have any clarification, you can ask. Then we'll go for the principal conclusion.
So very really learning experience. You just showed entire NAC process very clearly. We could understand each and every very clearly. Thank you very much for.
I think, sir, you are from Kamaraj College. Is it right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
நல்லா இருக்கீங்களா, sir? Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Since this is the national level thing, so I need to convey only in common language, so that I won't use any Tamil. So that okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your compliments.
Thank you, sir. And thank the college principal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Providing such a wonderful. Usually, people from various institutions are getting money conduct this kind of workshop.
Yeah. I understood. Even I attended one workshop regarding the same 5 days offline workshop, and I paid around 4,000 rupees. But I have not paid. My college sponsored me. Sir, I request other participants please mute. Yeah.
Sir, one small clarification I am in need of.
Sir, still your voice is little not audible. You can, if you want to, just
hello.
speak. Yeah, now it is good.
Sir. Okay. So regarding student satisfaction survey system, triple S.
Yeah.
So shall we give college, email or their personal email ID?
Whatever the things, sir, that should be a student's original email ID. You should not do some fake things. My suggestion, I know a few, it's a kind of, it's not in the actual thing. I know few false data also, maybe it is a chance is that anybody can create the email ID, but better, what are all the actual students contact email ID, you just submit, sir, whether it is an institutional or thing, but that should be accessed by only students. You should not supposed to access that. It is a kind of confidential process. One thing you can do is you can make the awareness among the students. If you really teach well in your institution, then obviously they will give the good feedback about your institution, and you should not threat the student also. That is very important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understood. Thank you.
And one thing we can do, and it is my personal suggestion, that the NAC is not expecting the entire overall students database. At least minimum 60, I think so, 60 or 80. You can refer the manual, so that so those students, you felt that some kind of students, really the problematic students are there in that, everywhere it is there. If you want, you can exclude that kind of students.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Any others? Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me, sir?
Sure, sir. Absolutely. You can speak.
Yeah. This is Dr. Parthasarthi, Dean
Yeah,
R&D and
I have seen
Industrial Relations.
many of your comments in the WhatsApp, right? Go on, sir. Go on.
See, first of all, I would like to thank you for having elaborately presented this workshop for 5 continuous days. Even for a newcomer who is having zero knowledge about this NAAC accreditation process, could able to understand what is what right
from this program. Since I know that most of the institutions, I have seen that most of the institutions are already accredited. So that I understood that it is some few topics, or maybe it is not new to the audience, but there is no other go. We have to come sequentially. I'll cover even from the front bencher and last bencher also.
Yes, of course, of course. So it was such a elaborated workshop, and as Professor rightly mentioned, mostly this kind of a workshop will happen based on payment basis. I would like to thank the resource person, Dr. Natarajan, as well as
I'll
the
take
management.
this as feedback, and from the in future we will implement this, right, sir?
Yeah, because what will happen normally, they will not take it as a serious issue. See, whenever we give some inputs for a free of cost, the weightage for those inputs will not be treated that important.
In my,
so this is
initially we thought that also even 50 participants, if you are offering paid basis, even 50 participants are also, we are expecting that much is okay. But our intention is, we are not spending money for conducting this, only we are spending our time. Time is the money. But except that there is no cash we spend for this, we already equipped with all the equipments in our college, so that that's why we plan to offer this complete program as a free one. So if you are really conducted this workshop in offline in institution, definitely there are many expenditures are there, so that only we can collect. So otherwise, but as you said, another side is those who want to get the only participation certificates, that also it will happen. We are expecting that also. Since that's why around it crossed 300 participants after the starting of the session. Only around it falls on 130 to 150 are really attending all the 5 days session. So they are deserved for the getting the certificates, I think so, and that's what my opinion. Next, are you okay, sir? He's out of line. Next, is there anyone? Or else we will go for principal's conclusion.
Hello, just
Yes,
2
sir.
minutes. Just 2 minutes.
Yeah,
so another thing is, I also would like to appreciate you for having shared the content, especially from day one. What are the material that you have prepared? You have shared it to the participants. I am sure this material will be of very much useful for the participants to go through. And I also request you to upload the content into the YouTube, because some of the participants would have missed some of the sessions.
Understood. Personal issues
having continuous commitments, and as you mentioned, there are n number of webinars declared every day. People are really struggling. Which one is to be acted? Which one is to be
every
ignored?
day? I think you need minimum 3 GB of data.
Yeah. So these are all various other factors as well. And my final request is, on behalf of all the participants, I personally request Dr. Natarajan to extend this kind of a support even in offline. Suppose after having started such kind of assessment, they may come across some of the doubts. If there is any such doubts or clarifications, I request you to be very free and open to offer inputs, so that it will be useful. As I rightly mentioned in the group chat, dissemination of knowledge ultimately lead to the level of attaining wisdom. So that I wish to conduct similar kind of workshops in the near future. I'm also happy to get participate in this. Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Definitely, we'll do the whatever you suggested in future after this situation comes normal, and with the permission of our management and principal, we'll arrange all these things, and we expect the same kind of support from all the participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I think time is 11:28. Shall we conclude? Mohan sir?
Sir, we can conclude with the principal speaks.
Sir, our staff,
Dr.
Krishna Kumar is coming in the line.
Professor Gopalan College of Engineering. I want to give feedback about Dr. Natarajan's session. But anyway, just what I want to tell you is we are within from last 1 year. He started this process in the year 2019 April, but that time itself he was very clear that he told us it will take 1 year to submit. We were wondering it is a matter of doing 2 or 3 months we can submit all the documents, but still he told no, it will take 1 year. As he told, nearly to December for us to submit that SSR. After submitting SSR, we were waiting for our peer team visit. Peer team visit was supposed to be happening in the month of March, but it didn't happen. But as he told, it was 1 year. So what I want to just tell you is he is having a wide knowledge about this NAAC accreditation process, and he is also very versed with this, and we are very happy to have him with us. And he really guided us to take this NAAC thing in a proper way. What is also we could have submitted it, but not in a proper way, in a proper time. And he also supported us with all sides of all parts of Google Sheets. So it helped us a lot. So once again, I thank Dr. Natarajan for this having good knowledge and sharing this with all the faculties across the country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Krishna Kumar, and thank you for your feedback for my dressing. He only suggested to wear the blazer. Thank you. Okay, sir. Principal.
Yeah, Salai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all for your active participation. The participants, I am able to see many participants are actively participating right from the beginning to end. Very first, I wish to thank our management for allowing us to do this 5 days FDP on NAAC accreditation for affiliated colleges. Then I would like to thank our secretary, Dr. Prabhakar, our COO, and our HODs and the IQAC team. And in the IQAC team, our vice principal is the coordinator, and the co-coordinator is Dr. Mohan. Mohan only coordinated for all the 5 days, I think you may be knowing. He did it in a very great way. Congratulations, Mohan. And I think Balavidya is also associated with Mohan. Thank you, Balavidya. And I have to thanks to Dr. KK also, now Krishna Kumar. Actually, he involved in OBE. On the first day itself, I told the OBE plays a very big role in this. To implement OBE in our college, Dr. Krishna Kumar has played a big role, and he has prepared the documents, and he has given 2 days faculty development program to our staff members also regarding OBE, and we are implementing it. So this is the thing. So next is I have to really congratulate Dr. Natarajan right from his joining in this college, that is March 2019, yes, right? So from that day onwards, we are working in that. So in that way, I should be thankful to him. Main advantage with him is his passion. that he will be telling everything in a patient way.
Yeah, those who are doing coordination work, they should have more patience.
Yeah, I think that is the main quality that made us to go through this. As both of them said, we should have gone for peer team visit in the April or May. We have even given the dates also. But after that, NAC told us they will be able to do only after students comes to college. So that's why we are waiting for the remaining formalities are over. All the things are over. So I should be really thankful to all the participants. I am able to see many principals also coming in this. So thank you, principals, especially. And as one of the participants now requested, we are ready to conduct as many programs as possible. No problem, either in offline or in online. So while you are teaching only, you can learn more. That is the basic philosophy. I think even Natarajan myself also discussing. While we are teaching only, we are learning more. In that way, you people helped us to learn more. So all the 5 days, you people were actually participated. As I said, some of the things I want to tell. One thing is, involve all the faculty members in your college parties. Even though you can form the committees, as he said, criteria-wise committees we can form, branch-wise committees we can form. But only thing is that all the staff members should be involved in that. Because while the peer team visit comes, they may ask anyone during their visit, whoever they are seeing in the opposite, they may ask. If they see one fellow, how you are doing OBE? Casually they may ask, but they will not express anything to us. But depending on that, they will evaluate us. So that this thing is that you form committees, as Dr. Natarajan said, you form the committees, faculty members in that, and students also should be knowing. I think you people may be knowing, they have student interaction also. So during student interaction, they are rigorous people, they are able to get the details from the students. The question may be look like it is a positive one, but in the incorrect, it may reveal what is the problem in our college. So that involve all the faculty members, involve all the students, then we can easily do this. So in that way, I am really thankful to all of you people, and I am seeing in that WhatsApp also, you people were actively participating in the evening. So you are asking the questions and we are doing it. And one more thing is that today, sir, whether we have uploaded the feedback form?
Sir, Mohan sir, you can tell that thing.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. I given already, sir, feedback link.
Okay.
The chat box I give.
It is uploaded. I request all the participants to fill it. What is there in your heart, you fill it. Fill it up and send us back. So it will be useful for us. Surely we will meet again. I am thanking all of you once again, and thanks to Almighty also. Thank you. And once again, I congratulate Natarajan and the IQAC team and our management. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohan sir.
Thank you, sir.